Hey everyone. Yes, it's not Tuesday. It is Wednesday. And I appreciate you being okay with me switching it out because I have an ongoing class on every Tuesday this month. So it was an opportunity for me to go down to or go up, go out. Anyway, going to Atlanta to the High Museum of Art and taking a series of watercolor classes. And I've had quite a few. I think some of you know I dabble in that and I find a lot of peace when I'm doing it. But I think this is going to be a little more structured where we're going to be looking at different things that, maybe I will grasp or not. I think a lot of people call what I like to do as a loose watercolor. So we'll see. I'll share with you guys when I'm done a progression of what we did and everything. So it's interesting. So thank you for being okay to switch to Wednesdays. It's still tea, yarn and tea, and today I'm drinking Pears and Cinnamon by Plum Deluxe. I really enjoy their teas, and I have my favorites. So I'm starting to send out samples of tea with with the online purchases. So I'm excited about having some to send because they're really, really, really good. So today is going to do quite a few things, but I wanted to give you a recap on Scenic Stitches, which was in Chattanooga this past weekend. And I had the opportunity of vending and was able to take Pearl inside the venue, which is a treat for me, a huge treat, because I get to be around the other vendors, get to feel the hype of what's going on, and obviously have nothing to worry about in terms of weather. So it's kind of cool. Now, obviously, yarn trucks, I knew I would always have those other issues with it, but it's fun to have once in a while be able to go inside the building and check it out. So there were 3 yarn trucks there, myself, Yarn Adventure, and then Indigo Guinea. And hers is a trailer and she's a dyer. So she's got a really nice setup there. So I got to visit as many as I could. Obviously, being the one-man shop, I have to stick around. And we got a lot of traffic, a lot of traffic. And I hope that those that purchase things from me this weekend will enjoy them and let me know and keep follow me and post with me and that type of thing. I had the trunk show going with twice sheared sheep, and I'm so glad I had it because it allowed me to offer some of the products that I would normally not be able to carry due to, I have a smaller area. And so having a lot of the smaller stuff or all of the stuff, the bags and all that, I don't have that room. So did get to have her Dawn's items and they were just a joy. In fact, I'm going to the post office in just a minute or no, not post office, UPS to send it back. And but it was very, very good, and I hope everyone enjoyed seeing the different things and getting them. So having that, I also another big hit this weekend was obviously Keith's yarn. I'll have a sample right here, but the sequin yarn was a big hit. And I had my hot pink shawl laying out on the front so people could at least see it. And it caught a lot of people's eyes. So I got in a hot red, a nice blue red, I mean, really true red. I got in a Tiffany color, teal, blue, whatever, but we call it's Tiffany, but I think it's called something else during spotlights. And then I got three, I think I got 2 or 3 other colors that's not coming to mind, but they're on the website. So hopefully if you're interested, but they're DK yarn, and it's 2 DKs, 2 skeins for what I'm making now, which is faint lines. And I showed that to you last week. So, but I got to see Leanne from Forbidden, and of course Carolyn from Swan City, and Fangirl. Who else did I? Of course I saw Chelsea with Cottontail, where she's going to be a guest, upcoming guest. And I saw, I'm trying to think of who else. I saw a lot of people, but those are the ones that are hitting my mind. And Forbidden was right across the aisle from me. So it was fun to chit chat with her and her mom and kind of get a scoop of what's going and coming. So she is going to be, she won't be at Nash Fest this year, but we are going to make sure her yarn is represented. So we're going to do a trunk show. And I'm super excited about that because I'm going to have different bases that I normally don't carry. So you can try them out, and then you can let me know. Maybe I add another base to Pearl, but I absolutely love her yarn. I love the colors that she's coming out with. And she was super busy this weekend, super busy. But I actually picked out this beautiful blue. It's called Night Triumphant. And would you say it's tonal, I guess? It knits, I saw a beautiful sweater with it, and it was beautiful. But this is my swatch. And I love how the color changes. It's going to be gorgeous. So this is a DK sweater, yarn, and it has 275 yards, and it is using 3 to 5. But this is a size 8 needle, and I got 18 stitches to the inch to 4 inches. So that normally is like a DK swatch, so to speak, a DK weight. I'm trying to explain that. But my vest, I'm doing a vest called Avenue Vest. And I've already done one. I think I showed it to you that it was a blue, and I was making it for someone special. And he loves it because this is a unisex vest. And he really, really likes it. And I told him he could wear it more because he was afraid to wear it. But I'm trying to get him to understand hand knits and so forth. So, but he was funny and about the Nashville coming up and wanting to let me take his vest so I could sell yarn. So I thought that was real funny. But I use yarn that I don't have and can't get any. So I am making another one using Forbidden's yarn. And the vest that I used was, of course, I never print the first page because I don't want to waste the ink. But it's Avenue Vest by Tori Yu. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. But says it calls for a worsted yarn. And talking with Leanne, I just thought, I don't want to have worsted, but you can bring it for the trunk show. But we got to looking at the pattern a little more and what it calls for. And she felt comfortable that this would definitely swatch for the 18 stitches to 4 inches that she is calling for in this pattern, even though she is using a worsted. I think she's holding a DK and a mohair in one, and then worsted in the other sample that she has. So it worked. It looks really good. It plumped up after I washed it, and it's definitely right on target. So we're going to try it. We're going to see how it works. And hopefully it'll be a great. And then also I learned that Latta, the Queen City yarn, also has done 18 by 4 as well, even though it's considered a sport weight yarn. So that's what's kind of interesting. So I'm going to, sit there and try different ones, because I have, leftovers from other things. And I'm going to kind of do some samples and see if they do plump up to other ones. So you don't have to always use it. And some DKs I see are so big, like Labina May, it looks like it's almost a worsted weight. So don't be afraid to try yarn and check your gauge. Now, if you're not a gauge knitter, I can't, I can't say how it will be. But if you were definitely you do swatches and check your gauge, you can try a whole bunch of different things. So welcome. I see some folks coming on, and if you want to tell me who you are and where you're coming from, I'd love to know. So the other thing at Scenic, and sometimes it's hard to get folks over to the truck, because we're always pushed over by ourselves. Sometimes I would love us to be parked in the middle, amongst all the vendors. But I don't know if people think that can't be done. But this is my only purchase for me personally, and I love it. It was I saw all of hers hanging, and I was like, oh. And I don't buy yarn anymore because I have to use yarn I sell. So but I look out for opportunities to bring it on purl. But I wanted to buy much more, but I didn't have time to go and look everywhere. But this is from Knits and Pearls Fiberworks, and this is called Mystic, and it's 100% Rambouillet, and it's going to be fun. So I've got several others that I've got lined up to be next, but I keep adding to my fiber stash. And I think I do have some Rambouillet, but I'm not positive. But I can't wait. So that was my personal purchase at Scenic Stitches. So anyway, it was a good program. Hey, Laura. I mailed your yarn. I know it's way behind. But I mailed it yesterday, I think, or maybe Monday. However, when you get it and you don't think it'll look good for that sweater, you let me know. Because I got tired of trying to find something, and I just grabbed something. They're all beautiful in the truck, but I was just taking too long. But hopefully, if it doesn't look good, because I think it's considered a variegated, so we'll see what you think about it, since you've knitted one of those Eek sweaters, which I can't wait to have on the bus, because I think it's going to be wonderful. The other thing that I'm looking at getting a sample made is the Champagne Cardi by Petite Knit. And I have the Santa Scarn yarn for that. And over the next week, I'm going to be putting some kits together, and I'll post about it, and I'll even have it for next week. So that is a cute cardie, and I think it has 11 inches ease. But I'm gonna make a small, and I'm even making a smaller one in the Eek sweater. Yes, I want to wear it, but I looked at it because I don't want a lot of ease. So we'll see if I did it right, if it's going to work. Like I said, I'm playing around. But the cardie, I just didn't want it to be too oversized. And we'll see if I did it right, because what I did is I looked at the finished, or I looked at the schematic across the bust and determined what size I wanted to. And I think I wanted to do like a 46. And to get that, I needed to do, I could do an extra small or small. So I'm going to play around. I don't know if any of you do that, or you just make what the pattern tells you based on your bust size. I think it's important, something I've learned recently. I've learned over the last few years, is to determine how you like your sweaters to fit. And you can do that by a sweater that you like and wear all the time, or a shirt. And determine whether or not you can, oh, hey, I see my friends. Jen, I saw her at Scenic Stitches this month. But I've just learned that a fit is a fit. And now I like mine shorter where I like them to be, and I'm going to play around with that. So I even want a sweater to be a little bit tighter, and probably this one might be too tight, but I still think it's going to be fun. So anyway, looking forward to seeing how those come out and what's happening. So I think the Scenic Stitches will be next year. I don't know if it will be in the same place, if it'll be the same weekend. I think that Courtney is still trying out a few things, but keep that. I think it's still be in the early first quarter of the year. So, stay tuned for that announcement for next year. A couple of other things I wanted to share with you and ask you questions about, because I wanted to know. So I know a lot of people view this after the live, and I hope that they will still feel good to comment. But how do you like buying online? Do you like to buy online? And obviously a lot of people, stores, myself and everything, if we're not, brick and mortar, and we don't have a constant flow of folks, we rely on our online store. And I'm just curious, what makes you buy online, and pros and cons, I guess. I have an issue sometimes with the colors, but I really do. A lot of times I haven't been failed too much. It's not been too bad for me, but it is funny. There are certain colors, I want to say blues or teals maybe, so sometimes look different, because when I've shown you those, they've changed a little bit. Or maybe it's the purples. I can't remember. I have to pay attention and keep that in mind. But they always look a little bit different. But, as a buyer of, for wholesale buying for yarn, I have to do it online unless I'm at a show and, I get to see it hands-on and take it with me. But I always wanted to buy it in person to feel it and touch it. But lately, I found that if I know the product, I know the yarn, I've used it, I've touched it, like I touched it in my bus or whatever, that I'm more likely to buy it online and know that I can trust the colors or so forth. And I can do that. Accessories, the same thing. I also wonder, do you like to go to direct to the, you know, dyer and or the maker of these products? It's kind of interesting in my world, being a mobile shop and not, you know, and traveling around and meeting a lot of clients. You know, my hopes are they'll come back and, you know, use my online store. Hey, Gay. And use my online store for if they can't get to me, because if they've been shopping with me a long time, they kind of know what I have. And especially if I brought awareness to that product or that yarn to them. Obviously, sometimes I may not, you know, have the right color. And of course, I support all of the people I, you know, work with. I think they're wonderful. And so that's why I have them on my shows. I want you to know, I want you to utilize them. So, but I just was curious what y'all did, how y'all looked at buying online and supporting stores and so forth. So think about that, and you can comment if you want to send me a DM and not post about it. Do for it. It's fine. I wanted to show you the two new needles tips that ChiaoGoo has now, and I might have already done this, but I couldn't remember if I had. But I wanted to bring your awareness to them, because I think this is the first time I had them at Knit in South Carolina, but this is the first time I had them at another show. And that is the new square needles by ChiaoGoo. And they call this quads. Now, this was one I got at and that's why I think I've already told you this. I got this at the show, I guess the retail or what is it? I can't think of it. Well, the whole, you know, shops go to and see all the vendors or whatever. And I got this pair was given to me, and I really like it. But what they came out with, instead of being a fixed needle, they came out with tips. So I've got all the square. No, I don't have all. I've got the tips for the quads from size 3 to 8. I can get other sizes, but those seem to be the ones that actually I sold, or not sold, I used, or people bought the most. So I got those. The other tips that came out were the Forte. And this is the carbonized and stainless steel. And I love these. I bought a set when they came out, and now they have the tips. And to me, when I have a real slippery yarn, I like to utilize these. Now these and these, all the tips, you know, lace tips are what I carry on board, because I love, you know, pointy tips. And both of these seem to have, this is a 10.5, but they all seem to have nice tips on them. So what I do is, all these fit any of red cords. There's a swivel cord out there, and the set of the Forte has a silver kind of cable. But I think you know they had this 360 swivel. Well, they have an adapter that for small and for large. So you can use the adapter on any of the tips and in the needles and the cables, and then all cables will become swivel. I didn't bother me one way or another, so I thought that was interesting. But I wanted to show you, because I had a lot of people, you know, look at them this weekend and purchase some and try them out and see what's going on. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. So that is for that piece of it. Let me see. Laura says, I'm a big fan of online shopping. If something isn't right me after it arrives. I can share it with a different yarny friend. I offer a good variety of online and on the truck. Thank you, Laura. Love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, go into a store. You can get a lot of different things and not go to multiple sites. So that's kind of interesting. And gay, very seldom buy yarn unless I can find it local and already know how the yarn feels and knits. I will buy online from independent shops that I'm familiar with personally. That's awesome. That's good. Yeah, and that's the big thing. I really want to know. That's why I like going to shows and seeing the other yarns, because that's how I bring on. I mean, that's how I brought Barbara MacGyver on. I had gotten her a skein of hers in a advent box. I think same thing with Shelley. I did too. Same thing. I got it in an advent box. It was Factory Girl. She did it. I had both of them. So two of those vendors, my vendors now, actually came through Crystal. So, that's how we work. We help each other. And then my Cozy Colors and Forbidden, and even Emma's Super Silk, are ones that I used to knit with personally. And so I knew I wanted to bring them on. So, you have those connections and you know what you want. So that's very good. Well, I've been saying this along, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. But, and here I thought I had, here it is. So I've been hinting at you about a product that I kind of came up with, and it just was something that I got a solution to something, and I thought that others would benefit from it. So I wanted to share it with you today, and that is a tassel maker. So what happens is I recently, I would say last year sometime, I was in a class and we were making tassels, and that class was awesome. But in fact, I used to have it hanging behind me, but I took it down. It was that triple tassel that I had. But we were given like a card to make the tassel and to wrap the yarn around. And it was supposed to be pretty thick. And so on each side, so that it would be really big and fluffy. Well, by the end of me wrapping, my card was like this. And, even if I tried to straighten it, it just kept going to one side to one side. Okay. So even if I slowed down and did it, it still seemed to get a little wonky. But that's how I think I've made tassels always. But this particular one just really made it kind of interesting. So I kept thinking about it. And the next thing I knew, I am ready to tie it off at the top. And I go to tie it up here, and it won't stay here. It keeps falling down to here. So I tie it off as tight as I can. And then I move it off so that I can take it down. And then I had to lay it and then make the tie for the head, and then cut it. And you could make it, move. Anyway, it was just a little bit cumbersome. And I kept thinking, I got to think of something that's going to work a little bit better. So basically what this product did was, it's plastic. It's hard, but so you can wrap the yarn. I was going to change cameras and show you, but I'm afraid that I wouldn't get it back. But, you can hold it, and then you just can wrap the yarn, and you can wrap it to whatever size you want, however wide. that you'd like to have it. I keep forgetting I got to hold my arms up higher. I don't know why. But then you have here, and then you can take it, and I'm going to just take it down there. And then what you can do is, the beauty of this is that there's grooves at the top and grooves at the bottom. So the key is that you can take a darning needle, or you can at least, or slide the yarn up under on the groove. You would do this with not having to show it online. I'm sorry, but you could push it through. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it right this minute. It is, I had a darning needle and it's rolled off somewhere. But anyway, you guys know me. I'm crazy. But having it in the middle, you can get a much better, tie off, and it's just more secure. So I took this and trying to get it to do this. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, there we go. So we can take it, and then you can do your tie up here at the top. It'll be in the middle. So let me do that real quick. And then I'll show you the main feature that I absolutely love and was absolutely important for me to have. Okay, so I've tied it. Now I've got the tassel top. And because I left this opening, I can go ahead and tie here to make the head. And obviously just going through the opening. You got all these different ties coming here, but going through the opening, and then just make your, and I have it about, you go pretty much up to the top, but you can make your top of your tassel any size you want. But I'm going to stay with this. And what I found is I still had, and I can tighten it up once I get it off but it just gives me an idea. So it's tied here. And then what happens is, what I really love is the groove. So you've got these are my fabric scissors, but any scissors that are very sharp, you can sit it in the groove and you can cut. And what I loved about it, and then we slide it off here. And I made that purposely long so that we could cut it. But there's a tassel all made. Now, of course, you might want to play with it. And you can take these and wrap them around and take a darning needle and go through the top to tie it off. You can also make this tighter, by wrapping it again and doing another knot. And I love this. And look, all of the pretty much, they're all about the same length. Now there's a couple of little, but not too many. And that's what I love too, is the waist. There's not a lot of waist because the fact is you're cutting right through the middle. So I know this took me quite a while to get these done, because this was a new process for me. Came up with it. My beautiful son, that a lot of you know, had a 3D printer and made me this is what we started out with. So this was something, and then we took and elaborated and kept changing a few things. And then I had to find somebody to make them. I didn't think that I could do that. Even if I bought a printer, I didn't want to add that. But was able to find, through a friend of mine, someone who could do this, and I'm excited. So at this point, this first run of them, they're only available on my website. And of course, I'll have them on Pearl. But I'm really excited because, like I said, when I used the card, I went wonky, and then that makes it uneven. Then you've got to move it around, and then you can't really cut here because you still, some people do cut here and then lay out the tassel and then make the, anyway, there's a lot that could do. Even a piece of cardboard can bend or move or whatever. So I know it can maybe be improved upon, but I'm pretty happy with this. And I have, hold on. Oh, please. Darn it, I knew I would do this. But anyway, I have made a bunch of them, different sizes, different thicknesses, and I put beads on this and wrapped it around the top. You can put a wooden bead here. There's a lot of things you can do with them, but this is pretty, helps you make it pretty simple. And I'm going to make a tassel flag. So, you see all the flags people make to hang in their office or different places. So this will be one of my decorations in the new office. And I'll have it hanging, and every time I have some scrap leftover yarn, I'll make a tassel or two. This is DK. I made a lot of fingering weights. And so this is a 4-inch square, and that's about the norm. You can make this tighter and it'll puff out, make it wider. But you can also cut to make it smaller if you wanted to. But I thought 4-inch was about the basic for what you utilize on scarves and some different shawls. But here you go. I'm excited. So we're calling it Yarn Yogi's Tassel Maker. And I hope you guys will take advantage and support this situation. I like I said, it was thanks, Laura. I appreciate it. It's really interesting process, and I know that there's so many things out there, and I tried to find one already like this, and I never did until I did find something not like it, but had a groove on it. But it's just like you got to go for it and try it and see what happens. I got a couple of other things I'm thinking about, but that's not my main that's not my expertise. I just had to get that off my mind and get it done, because making those tassels, it was a little frustrating for me because they were thick too. So anyway, on the website and on Pearl. And thank you for being patient and watching that for me. Like I said, upcoming guests are going to be Cottontail Farm, Chelsea. She makes the best bags. And then, of course, Designs by Yasmin. And if you didn't see, I forwarded a new earring that Yasmin is doing out of clay. And I really like those. So I have shared them with several groups of mine and on my website, my stories and stuff, because she just launched it, and I want her to get some love, and because I think those are cute. And I've told them I love jewelry. I just this is my main. I can't go without my watch, but I'm bad about remembering to put on the jewelry. And then when I get home, I'll take it off in different places, and so it ends up all over the place. But anyway, so that's what I've got going on today. I had wanted to do using the two different peeling. We're going to go through this again. Pilling, of the sweaters, how to get rid of it. I couldn't get it right last week. Still can't. Anyway, I'm going to have that probably next week because I want to make sure that I'm utilizing that one tool correct before I put it on the test in my sweater. So I've been using some test things. So anyway, have that next week. Hopefully we'll use another camera so you can watch me do it, and then you be the judge of which product works the best. And it could be based on the type. So I do have a cashmere sweater that is a bought sweater that is pilling. And then this big chunky sweater is also. So it's merino. It has very little acrylic in it. So a fine yarn and a more durable yarn. Let's see which one works best on which product, or maybe they both do. So we'll see that next week. Anything else, you guys, you know where to find me. You can DM me on Facebook or Instagram, or email me at thetravelingyarnyogi@gmail.com. Or that's it. I think those are the main things. So I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you next week on Wednesday. Bye.